Hey guys, if you do not have that mental strength, please don't quit that church yet. Stay right there until you develop something called the mental power. And the opposite of leaving the church is not leaving God. And be warned that the opposite of leaving church is not going to drugs. The opposite of leaving church is not having bad company. Let me help you in understanding what mental strength is. Mental strength is simply the proactive capacity to function well even when you're dealing with health challenges. Be able to have that resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversities and stress or even setbacks. Have that emotional regulations that you are able to manage your feelings even when they are really hard for you. Have that self-awareness. Self-awareness is basically understanding your emotions and thoughts, and also have that positive mindset where you engage your the optimistic side and reframing back from negative thoughts. Be able to persevere. Perseverance will lead you to the continuation of the good work that you started, and make sure you focus towards the goal. I have seen many people leaving church and ended up in drugs, ended up in the wrong hands and bad company because they did not understand why they were leaving church. The major thing that made them leave church is because of that conflict. Maybe it was a brain conflict or a societal conflict. And let me tell you, the easiest way to die is leaving church immediately and getting into drugs. Let me tell you, if you leave church and your mental power is really down, then you will end up dying so quickly. Let me tell you, churches have a way of helping those who do not have mental strength. Make sure before you quit that church, your shift in the focus is so straight. Make sure you know where next you're going. Make sure you see the big picture. Look at the long-term value that you're going to get after quitting church, not at the short-term setbacks. Make sure you're able to acknowledge your emotions, that when quitting, two things will come: guilt and relief. One of them has to come your way. Make sure you have the strategic disengagement. See the decision you're making as a cut to the losses, not to the failures. If you see it as failures, then you're going to end up in the wrong hands or in the wrong company. Then make sure that you re-engage so fast. Set new goals after quitting, because an empty house or an empty heart might be the devil's playing ground. However, do not stay in places where there is contempt, because in some places there are people who have a strategic, intentional determination to make sure that they disrespect you, disregard you, and dishonor you. All this is a basket to make sure that you feel worthless. This is a point where you quit. And make sure when you quit, you still have that mental strength. The first place I quit a church was my first church. I left because there was contempt. It was presented to me in a very massive way, and it ended up being a mental torture to me. It went for almost a year, and I made a conscious decision that I am quitting. I was very active in that church. I played music, I led people into practicing and all that. And I decided I will not tell anyone, but I will do that work diligently, because I was up to improving my skills day in, day out. I asked God to give me a better place where my skills can be even much, much better. And mind you, I made sure that I will shift the focus to the long-term value I'm getting once I leave. But I didn't get that specific place that I'm going to. I stayed in that church for up to 3 months doing the same thing that I do, without showing anybody that I've decided to quit in my mind. There was that brain battle, the brain conflict, but I decided, because the society around me, especially the leadership, has decided they no longer need me. They showed me the worthlessness and disregard of what I was doing. And remember, by the way, why are you remembering? You aren't there. I used to do a lot, because I worked for a few guys here and there who who didn't want to work because of my presence. Anyways, you aren't there. I decided that emotions will not make me leave immediately. I had to weigh options. I have to leave because I have decided and I have the mental power to live without making dramas. And thank God, by then I was still just a few years away from teenagehood, and I managed to live without any battles there. And where God took me, or where I ended up in, my skills ended up being much, much better. This is the thing. We are always afraid of leaving because we do not know what is next, because we do not have that we do not have the main objective of where we want to go. We don't have a clarity of the clear picture. We don't have the clear picture of where we want to go. So basically, things got better to where I went to. I even ended up being paid, and I thank God up to today because my skills got much, much better. I thank God I left. But because of the mental power, I was able to acknowledge my feelings. I was able to strategically disengage, because the decision here was to make a strategic decision of cutting the losses, not the failure. And I also was able to engage in setting up new goals. Thank God this happened.